Good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are. I am the Wombat of DM, and welcome to another episode in the Seregen campaign, session 32 of our ongoing mission to do whatever it takes to be the best Zippo, or best Wood Elf Assassin, or so on and so forth. Let's introduce our fine companions down below.
Hello, I'm the Banewall, and I will be Belzian, the half-elf monk who is currently wearing a cloaker as a hat, an unwanted hat. Please help.
Hi, I'm playing Gormir, the elven druid. / fighter.
I'm playing Roger Mays, the Wood Elf Assassin. And that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, he's changed it.
Wood Elf Assassin? Yes, he would. I mean, it's a catchphrase now, I've got to say
it. Who's next? Is it me?
It is.
Yep.
I am Jaeger. I play Yarvik Venison Bringer, that Munchkin of Mayhem, the Tiny Terror Halfling.
Zippo, and I feel like most of my names were just stolen by Yarvik. Because I feel like I'm more of a terror to society, but, I'll accept that. I'm a kobold sorcerer. I'm a calm person.
I think you've changed your ways now.
Sure, I'm more like electric instead of burn everything down.
A shocking development.
Indeed.
Yeah, Zippo's embraced the elements. Alright, and I play Jordan Bordelot, the human bard, our trusty NPC of the group. Never gets anybody into trouble, ever.
Has yet to get anybody into trouble, but might in the future.
Of course, yeah. There's always that potential, right?
Seduced any dragons yet?
Yeah, not yet. Just told a story about one. Anyway, so last we left off, that was a couple weeks ago. Sorry for the break last week. We had to cancel due to some conflicts, but we're here for a makeup session today. The group reunited, except for one. Ulrich was left behind as a trade-off for letting the rest of the group free. He is now a ward of the Axe Clan, and the rest were exiled from the Axe Clan lands and are heading south into Necrata. They have several days more journey to go, but did fast travel it down some by utilizing some tree striding abilities that the elves that are their companions are utilizing as an ability. One of which being Gormir, who Sylvanar took over as his new character while Ulrich is in captivity. So while they were traveling south, they happened upon a clearing with some stuff and some bones, ominous and all, but nobody was claiming any of that stuff, so some of the group got curious, namely Zippo, reached for a cloak, and it turned out to be a creature that latched onto his head. So we kind of ended session last time in the midst of that combat. They successfully managed to remove the cloaker from Zippo's head, unfortunately only for it to attach itself to another party member, Belzian. So guys, we left it off, I believe, with Gormir, if my tracker serves correctly. So Roger had just gone. It's Gormir's turn now.
Okay, so Gormir is going to, we only have the one anyway, so he's going to, I think, throw a knife at it. Nice and simple. Or actually... yeah, we'll make it simple. So he throws a knife for 22.
That should hit. Yes, it does.
And that's 7 piercing damage, non-magical. And then as a bonus action, he will... where is it? Do a quick toss. Oh, you know what? Shit, I forgot. Sorry. Superiority die and things like that. I should absolutely utilize one of those.
I also recall that you did that kind of teleportation move last time. Did that create any bonuses this time?
No.
Okay, just making
I was,
sure.
Yeah, no.
Because you were still sparkly after that move. So.
Yeah, I think that's just flavor.
Okay.
In the text, but I will double check. Yeah, I just appear ghostly and translucent. It says. So apologies, I did forget about my maneuvers. Called him a druid and forgot he's actually got a lot of fiber stuff in him. Mm-hmm. So he's going to use maneuver. Let's see. Disarming, distracting strike. So when I hit with a weapon attack, I can expend a superiority die and add the total damage roll to the next attack roll against the target by an attacker other than me. Sorry. And the next roll against the creature has an advantage if the attack is made before the start of my turn. So, I will throw that for 7 dice, and then also a superiority dice, which is a D8. For an additional 4 piercing damage, and then finally, as a bonus action, going to throw a second dagger, and that's the quick toss. So I expend yet another superiority dice for that dagger.
Okay.
17.
17 hits.
Okay, so another 7 plus another 7. So grand total, all said and done, is 25 piercing damage to this thing, and someone has advantage on it on the next attack.
Okay. So as the first dagger pierces the cloaker, it goes straight through the cloaker, damaging both it and Belzian in the process. Belzian, you take, so that was 7 plus 4 is 11. So you take 5 points of damage as that knife sinks into you.
Okay.
And then you had 14 for your second attack, correct? That's how you got the 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
14.
So another 7 for you, Belzian.
Alrighty.
But as these knives are tearing through this cloaker and into you, they literally like tear through it. Like you're kind of at an angle, so it's almost like it's a glancing blow for the cloaker, but like what it really does is it tears through both of its wings and into you, and pins the cloaker to you, but you feel its jaw slacken and fall off of your head as it dies and gasps out a final breath. The cloaker is still pinned to you via these daggers, but you are no longer in combat.
So what you're saying is he's wearing it like the turkey that Mr. Bean was wearing, basically, is what we're seeing here.
More, kind of, if the turkey was pinned to his back and if the head was flopping around behind him like a hood.
I would like to run in a random direction.
Okay. Roll a 1d8.
I'm going off the computer numpad here, so the 4. I'll go
Okay,
this way.
you head west.
Ah!
I will remind you that I do have a bear totem out here, so it's good for another like 8 rounds, I think. And that thing does do healing.
How far is that reach for the totem? It's a circle?
Was a 30. It creates an order and a 30-foot radius around it, and
Do you recall where you had put it down?
I mean,
Not that it matters, but
yeah, like here-ish, I think, but I sorry, I don't
yeah, it's fine.
recall. It grants you and your allies each creature of your choice an aura when the spirit appears. Oh, you know what? It does nothing here, so disregard. It does nothing.
Cool. Well, it's
At this
there.
point.
So.
Yeah. I go to recover my daggers.
Okay, sounds good.
Here you go.
Oh,
Nice
it's
shot.
So you pull them out of Belzian.
Yeah.
Oak.
The cloaker falls to the ground.
Healing.
Healing.
And I put cure wounds on him.
Oh, thank you.
15.
I feel pretty good about that.
I run over to Zippo and I give him some heals. I know Zippo got the bear's share of it.
A bear totem.
Zippo, how badly damaged are you?
I'd say I'm about halfway.
Okay.
Half bloody.
I've got some heals. I haven't cast anything.
11 healing.
That's good.
Do you still need some, or I can heal up Belzian too. Either one.
Belzian's pretty close to max.
Yeah, I'm only like 10 points away. I'm good.
Aim this one at Zippo.
Thank you.
Alright, so we both got 11. Very nice. Except I cast mine at 3rd level and you cast yours at 2nd, so show off.
So I think Gormir will go to Roger and say in Elvish, "Is this normal for them to just pick up anything they see? I know this is dangerous."
In Elvish, I'll say, "Oh, we thought it was a cloak," you know?
They don't know any better.
Let's put this cloak on Zippo. See how it looks. I mean, we saw what it looked like on his head, but I don't think that's how you're supposed to wear them.
And let me tell you about this time they stole a bunch of bunch of different powder and tried to mix them into a barrel.
We were so close to having a bomb that time.
Do I know what a bomb is?
If we had more time in one place, I could tan this thing's hide. Like your real cloak out.
I mean, there were powder kegs that you guys actively stole and blew up, so I would say maybe not the term bomb, but explosive is definitely something you know.
Okay.
And are experienced in. Not good experience, but experience.
Gormir's experienced in it?
Oh, I see. Would Gormir know what a bomb
Yes.
was? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He nods and says, "This is good. All right, you take any items you see on ground. Just do not kill us."
Oh, it's only happened twice. It's fine.
You die?
Close, you know? But are you really adventuring if you don't get close to death at least once or twice?
I suppose this is true. Yes, battle is dangerous.
Right? How would you truly know you were alive if you were almost not alive?
Excuse me. So,
All right.
Onward.
Well, shall we get going then? I think we've dallied long enough, says Ire.
Have we, like, looked through everything here, excluding the cloakers?
Well, so the other thing was there was a rusted axe on the ground and a short sword, and then the finely made dark cloak, which turned out to be a finely made creature. I do say so myself.
Okay.
Now it's the whole.
I don't remember who has the bag of holding that we got from the Prince guy.
Those-
It has the prince's head in it. I remember that much for sure because I remember we cut his head off and put it in there.
Was that Ulrich or was that Zippo?
I
Sometimes
believe it
it's-
might have been Ulrich.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Ulrich's
it
just
was
chilling
too.
with the head.
Yeah, I believe I do have that.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Back in camp.
Speaking of which, I would certainly recommend making sure that that's in your inventory because that's just priceless. Priceless thing to add to your inventory.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is on there.
head of a
Right
prince. Yeah.
That's no way to get ahead in life.
Don't have bag of holding listed, but I do have.
All I know is it's not Jordan, because Jordan already has one.
He has a modified one.
Yes.
I don't have it on this Zippo character sheet, and I'm pretty sure it isn't on the old Zippo character sheet.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I do have the head listed.
Yeah, and the head was definitely in the bag of holding. So.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
I'll add a bag of holding to him.
Good.
Okay, since we don't have the bag of holding, then I mean, I'd like to take the weapons and the creature, but there's no way carrying them will slow us down, so we'll leave them.
Yeah, Jordan's not willing to put the cloaker in his bag, so.
Yeah.
Were you like digging through your pockets to see if you had the head or not, or is that just something you were like? Because like I assume like when you're checking your character sheet for items, that's like you digging through your pockets, right?
Oh yeah. Zippo would definitely have been like, "Is this the bag of holding?" Like, and every time he put his hand in a bag, he'd be like, "Maybe I'm just not asking right." He'd ask for the head and everything,
Right.
trying to find it.
Okay. I would like you to make a perception check, please.
This one with advantage, disadvantage, straight roll.
Straight roll.
15.
All right. You notice, as you're digging through your stuff, that the book is missing.
The book is missing.
The book.
Okay, that's not good.
You look slightly concerned. friend.
Zippo's
Are you
definitely
okay?
gonna go. I'm missing my book. The book that I got when we did the thing. I'm missing it. It is gone. We gotta go back. I gotta get it. That's my book. I have to have it.
Wait, where did you leave it?
I don't know. It was in my bag. It should have been here. So either the Goliaths have it, I've lost it on the way, and he's gonna look to the elves, or one of y'all stole it when one of us was looking.
Spooky.
Easy to blame the Goliaths. That said, what are we going to do with the book?
I mean,
That
I
is
really
the
like
book
books,
with
but I
the
didn't take-
important information that we have to have.
We already have the information. We read the book when you got it.
But we don't want other people to have that information.
As far as we can tell, everybody else seems to have it already.
Yes, but every bit of information is different. Ours could have had something that they didn't know about or didn't have.
Ours had Jack all in it. I remember when you read that out to us.
I do
Is it?
too, but I don't want it in the wrong hand.
What if
basically-
whoever has it can't read?
Basically, all that book did was tell us that that Necrata and Relic existed, and gave us hints at who might have the similar artifacts for Necrata and Relic. And frankly, everyone we've met in Necrata and Relic seems to already know all of the information that was in that book.
Back to principle now, man.
I'm not going back to the Goliath encampment when we're so close to just getting out of this hellhole full of angry people and giant monsters. I can
The
go
only
talk
other
to
person I think
normal,
can have it
normal
would be Karen.
elf in Necrata.
I would
How
say
normal are they gonna be?
Yarvik is going to submit that it is likely that Ulrich knows about it and may be able to take care of it.
Sure. And it could also be in Perrin's cave, because I do remember us going there. Or Perrin.
Would you like to do a history check to see if you remember having the book after that or not?
Yes, please.
You definitely had it after Piran.
Oh, but then yeah, so for sure it's Goliaths or elves. Because I know Zippo might be a child, but he's careful enough with items he considers his that he would not let them be stolen.
Ire steps close to you and says, I would speak carefully.
I can speak however I want.
We did not steal anything from you, Kobold.
First off, I can speak however I want. Second, I don't know you all that well. I'm only trusting you because the 3 friends over here trust you. So you are on my list. You will be on my list till I know I can trust you more than what my friends say.
How do you write a list without a book?
Okay, bravo.
The book isn't a list. It's important information for our people back home.
I know not the right information with your list.
Wait a minute.
Say you could just write it down again.
Out of character, didn't Zippo take the book into his ring?
Well, I don't.
In that case,
I don't
definitely
think so
gone.
because you were planning on burying the ring until Jordan intervened.
That's true. That's true.
So
That's true. Never mind.
if you hadn't taken
I-
everything out of the ring, you would have then.
Yeah, no, you're right. I did have it on my person. Yeah, never mind. So, yeah, Zippo's just gonna be worried about that this whole time. He's gonna hope that if Ulrich sees it before the Goliaths do, he'll do something about it. If that's where it's at. But he's definitely got his eyes on all the ills.
Why is this book so important?
Who's asking me?
That's Ire.
It is a very important book that tells that because the humans don't live for as long as your people or apparently the people of the Goliaths. So they don't have the historic information of why the wall was up. This book tells that historic information.
And why do you have it?
That's a long story, and the best way I can tell you why I have it is, let's say that I killed a prince and took his head and he had it. Had to submit the rule of Vort, you know?
That's gonna be a deception check. It was very close to not being one, but it's definitely one.
21.
Okay. Can we go now? Says Ire.
Let's get on the road. Come on, so you remember everything in there. You can just write it down again.
That's true.
Put it in book with your list. Yes.
Alright, so the party begins moving southward once again. Easternly. You losing some internet connection, Belzian?
Yes, I blame Necrata.
Got it.
And, Relic.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, the spotty connection of lack of civilization, right?
It's a long distance out here. Yeah.
They wasted all the money they were supposed to spend on fiber.
Oh, they've got plenty of fiber. That's how they're so beefy.
I don't think that's how fiber works.
Yeah, it's not.
Goliath's sake, big poops.
when I
Making a molehill out of a mountain man?
So you begin traveling south. Gormir, you're asked to cast Pass Without a Trace on the group again.
Yep.
Especially after having a conflict, this is probably a good way to distance yourself from that ordeal without somebody being able to track you. So we have that for an hour, where everybody has a plus 10 bonus to their dexterity as they stealth. So everybody go ahead and roll stealth. Let's see how well people do. Roger still matches Jaeger's original roll, although Jaeger's at a 32.
Jorvik breaks like the wind through the trees.
It's funny, Roger. For once, you are the least stealthy, but still, fortunately, still very stealthy with your roll.
At my absolute least stealthy, I'm still sneakier than most of you.
Yeah, with that plus 10, that definitely does help, for sure. On top of your plus 11.
Let's see. The die roll not really contributing, but all of our bonuses.
Yeah. We do have some sneaky people in here. I mean, Belzian's a plus 7, which is not too far off from you.
Yeah.
Jaeger being a plus 8. Yeah.
You gotta be quiet in the library.
All right. As you continue south, the forest, or shall I say the jungle, grows thicker, and the trees grow bigger as you get further and further into the jungle proper. These trees are all fairly large and whatnot. An hour passes of you sneaking around, and the ground is softer and wetter than it was toward the mountains. It seems you're getting into the lower lands, the lowlands, and so some of that runoff from the mountains is pooling, and you find pools of water and little streams and tricklets and more mucky areas within the forest. The forest is still damp and drippy, despite it not having rained in a day. So it seems like water just naturally condenses and is humid. With your passive perceptions, you just notice basic forest life, large, all of the animals and things like that are much larger. Sorry, I'm getting some messages. The wife called from... Alright, so as you're passing, you're observing the area. You see like large tropical birds, and I mean like large as in like size category large. Some of the wildlife that seem to be plant eaters, vegetarians, are kind of grazing and things like that in areas and run off when they see you, such as larger deer. You see a giant sloth up in the tree canopy, things like that. So basically, think of it like the entire forest is giant-sized instead of like medium creature size. It's large creature size, if that makes sense. It's like everything's been upped one size category.
If we shrunk,
Yeah, do we know for sure?
I mean, what does Gormir like? He's a silent type, so he probably just wouldn't say anything. But is this surprising to him?
Seems like another day in this forest for sure.
Cool.
But you have experienced that this forest is dangerous and wild in magic, and you know a little bit more about this forest than I'm even saying right now. So you know that this is normal. Ire takes both Eliath and Gormir aside after the Pass Without a Trace wears off, and looks anxious. And she says, I need to talk to both of you for a moment.
No sense in speaking Elvish, as the little one knows anyway. And of course they're elf.
Just speak quietly.
can I hear them anyway?
Give me a perception if you're trying to.
Yes, I wonder what they're talking about as we all lean in with our hands cupped.
Honestly, my passive perception is probably going to be better than whatever I roll here.
Okay, what's your passive?
20.
Yeah, the three of us are just stacked up, like all three of our heads stacked up in a line, poking
You're like
around
behind
the
a tree, yeah. Alright, so what she should have done is waited for, just left it at the end of that stealth check, so, you know what I mean? Like, where did my dice go? Gormir, I guess roll a stealth check to try and be quiet while we're talking.
I'm sorry, roll a what now?
A stealth check, because we're trying to be quietly talk without being overheard.
Oh, sure. 7.
And I rolled a 1, so here we go.
Good, of course we're going to be quiet.
So we, she basically says, we're going too slow. We need to pick up the pace, and I think that means we need to find an elder tree to tree stride.
This is something that I do not think we can trust them with.
Well, it's either that or leave them, and I don't think we want to do that. We have an agreement, and we're going to honor our side. Just going to an elder tree is dangerous. They might elect for a less dangerous route.
They do not need to know that it's dangerous. By nature, the danger can just be part of the experience.
Do you think that it would be the better choice to tell them as opposed to not? It seems like honesty is something of value to them.
I think if you feel they are going to fight with us about going to the elder tree, then don't give them a reason to fight.
Elias,
But
go ahead.
oh no, but I do not make the calls. It's yours.
Elias, what do you think? Well, I don't think we should go to the Elder Tree at all. You know what that means. Yes, I know. But perhaps we'll get lucky for once? Think of how many days it would take off the trip.
Yes, and it is possible that it may take someone's limbs as well.
Well, that's what the village elder can heal.
So, you say honesty, we be honest, and we see what they want. We let them know they are slow and need to be faster.
Alright, follow my lead. So she returns to the group and she says, change of plans. We're not going to go south anymore. We need to go due east.
What for? Wasn't the plan to get out of Relic as quickly as possible?
Yes, and this path may do just that. As long as we can avoid the dangers of the Axe clan and any creatures in the forest that might be threatening, this will be the fastest way.
So to go south faster, we need to go east a bit.
Yes.
You know the geography. Guess we more or less have to take your word for it, and we're planning on traveling with you.
Good. All right. Follow us. And she gestures toward the an eastern path and pushes forward. While you're walking, anybody having any reaction to this conversation that heard it? Namely, the both Belzian, Zippo, and Jaeger all heard it. Although I don't see Jaeger roll a perception. What's your passive? I mean, pretty much everyone except for Zippo heard it because I rolled a 1. So.
Maybe
you tell what
Zippo
your
was listening to the
passive
wrong
is?
direction.
I'm pretty sure my passive gets that.
Yeah.
Your passive would be listed on the left side of your character sheet, underneath your saving throws.
Yes.
You're on D Beyond.
There it is. Got it. 12.
Yeah, you heard it.
So, Zippo, if they double cross us, be prepared. We'll say this over the rings.
Yes.
Zippo, if they double cross us, be prepared to burn down this elder tree.
Okay. Which one you want? How
Okay.
do you want me to burn it down? I can burn it down with fire. I can melt it with acid. I can do a
It's
lot
probably
of fun
warded
things.
against fire. Try acid first,
Acid first. All right. Yeah, I understand. I got you.
but only if they double cross us.
What if they single cross
Only
us
if
or
they double cross us. Got it. Yes. What were you saying, Belzian?
No, I was gonna say only if they double cross us, but not single or triple cross us.
Yes.
Would be highly rare quad cross, which really is like making, free rights. It just brings you back where you started.
If there's a quad cross, we probably deserved it.
Isn't that like a dual tech and Chrono Trigger or something like that?
Probably. Extra.
Yeah. Uh, 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 probably best not to let on that we've heard. that conversation.
I kind of want to complain. I feel like we've been walking and stealthing at a pretty good clip. Like, I don't know what they're complaining about.
Zippo walks slowly, and so does Jordan.
I don't walk. I ride Brunhild.
Brunhild walks slowly, carrying Zippo, and so does Jordan.
That's fair. She does have a lot of burden. Also, I want to point out, I rolled that 1, right? And I just recently just cleaned out my room, and I found an old set of dice that I've never opened. And they're white with like red spots on them, look like blood splatter. And I've rolled them 4 times, and 3 of the 4 times have been nat 20s.
Well, you just used it all up now.
Yep. I was just like, I wonder how these will roll. If I ever do D&D in person, I'm taking these with me. These babies are lucky.
Nice.
Yeah, Zippo will be like, yeah, okay, you know. I'm ready to burn down a forest. This is like the dream, you know?
You've already burned down one forest. We have one, yes. But
Yeah.
what about second
But
forest?
what about second one?
Exactly. You know, you're never really, and as long as there's a tree standing, you're never really completed. I think I remember an age-old saying from a bear folk that said, one time, one tree burns down in the forest, you gotta burn the whole one down so it can all regrow together.
Otherwise, the trees are all different ages, and that's just creepy.
Yep. Also, Zippo's also going to be wondering, like, what's an elder tree? Because I don't think he has any idea what that would be. Or at least he's never heard of one.
It's a specific type of wood. It's a close kin of the alder tree, but this one's with an E instead of an A.
Oh, that makes sense.
Are they sentient, like Atlan?
Surely you've heard of older trees. That's like the alder tree and the elder tree, but with an O.
Fair.
And of course, younger trees, which are spelled totally different.
That's accurate.
Didn't know you were such a treeologist.
I mean, they don't call me a wood elf for nothing.
Oh.
Fair.
Well, back to the walk.
All right. So,
Kind of want to walk slower just to spite them now.
honestly, that's what I thought you were saying, Roger, when you said Belzian and Jordan walk slower. Like you were giving us an instruction.
No. Hey, I'm not in charge here. The first person who is in charge gave up their title.
So, who is in charge of the party at this point?
Probably Zippo.
Probably Zippo.
I think we're an oligarchy, but we just all agree to go where Zippo goes because he's in for the wall.
Say we were an oligarchy until our noble patron left us.
Now we got to follow the brains of the operation.
Yarvik?
The brains. I think the brains of the operation was still Belzy. I miss the horses.
Yeah, I was
So
going through my
much
inventory.
glue
It's still there.
it could have
Are
made.
these horses gone? We would be going faster if we had the horses.
If the group's having this conversation, the Yarvik just looks up. What, who, me? Nah. Why is everybody staring at me?
Gotta love it.
Jordan privately messages the rest of the group. If Zippo's the leader, then he's the figurehead. I got this.
Perfect.
Bon, we all know Zippo's just going to pass off leadership to the first intelligent animal we see.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That cloaker almost became our leader.
Well, it definitely almost became the crown of the party.
If I could have tamed it, it would have been our leader.
It was too busy trying to tame you.
So, as the party walks east, the forest darkens as the canopy overcasts and thickens. The trees are quite large here, even larger than before. You're literally going toward the heart of the forest, basically, as you can see on the map. With your passive perceptions, you notice that there are... bless you. Sorry, my cat. You notice that there are similar experiences to what you noticed in earlier forests, where bushes move out of the way farther ahead as they see you coming, and then move back to where they were after you leave the area.
As we pass each of those bushes, Zip was going to say thank you.
Okay.
I'm actually going to ask Ira about that while we're walking. What's with the shrubbery reconfiguring itself here? And he'll point to it as it happens.
Every living plant is alive in this forest. And some creatures do not wish to be tread upon. I've also seen them move into creatures' paths to when they are ready to pollinate, to spread their seed. But in this case, I suppose they see us coming and just move the other direction.
So what you're saying is we're not attractive enough for these plants.
Well, we are smaller. We're not large like many of the creatures in the forest, which is why we must stay alert in case one of them chooses to see us as easy prey. That includes the plants. There are many carnivorous plants in this area. I would be very careful of what you touch here.
Understood.
She points out one such. She points out a tree that looks like its roots are kind of raised out of the ground. You know how like cypresses, not cypresses, maybe cypresses? What is the tree where the knots come up out of the ground again?
Mangroves?
Mangroves.
No, I'm thinking of something else. It's mangroves are not a North American tree. This is a tree that you might find in North America. They're usually in more wetland territory, and like they have knees that pop out of the ground. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Knees of tree. Cypress. I was right. Okay. Yeah. So cypress trees have knees that come out of the ground or water. But yeah, this is kind of a mixture between those roots that pop back up and mangroves, and they kind of form almost like a little room where something might take shelter. She gestures at one of these and says, "That may look like a cozy place to camp for the night, but that's a maw. You don't want to go in there. You'll never come back out."
How do you know that nobody ever comes back out? Have you ever fed anybody to these trees?
No. Not personally.
Yes, we do not usually come this way, given the wall. So those trees we have not fed anyone to.
I guess not, eh? The wall was there for a while. Thank you for pointing those out. I suppose we'll have to be careful then.
Roger, you see to the north a glowing ball of light with wings kind of flitting about between trees. It seems to appear to be a small human, a very, very small human, a very, very small winged human.
I'm gonna whisper fairies over the ring, and silently attempt to point it out to the party
How do you silently attempt to point it out? I'm just curious.
with my finger.
Okay, I see. Since you were talking over the ring, I was just imagining you trying to gesture through the ring. And I'm like, wait, how would that happen?
Yes, I think we took a ferry to get here before we had a face-off with the prince.
Weren't those wisps?
I'm thinking of the boat, a different type of ferry.
Oh, I see.
It was a fairly fair fairy assessment.
The ones that the water elementals helped us cross on. I wonder if they went and told Atlan about this.
When you notice, Ire also noticed the ball of light, and she veers more south away from that creature and a little bit deeper into the woods. Giving it a wide berth.
What, you don't want to talk to the fairies?
She wordlessly shakes her head and continues.
Man, we'd have plundered right on up to it without you guys here.
Yeah, we could have made more friends.
All right, so as you continue forward, Ire kind of halts the party after, say, 2-3 hours of this kind of travel, so it's midday at this point. Maybe even a little bit later, depending. It's kind of hard to tell with the trees so thick up top. It's not like we have any other means of telling time at the moment. And she says, depending on where the forest's mentality lies at the moment, this could be either very dangerous or very safe. If the Axe Clan hasn't messed with this part of the woods recently, I would bank on safe but cautious. But we know that they've been traveling southward, so I'm not confident that that's the case. She uses a spell to show an image. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
So she says, if you see any creatures like this, if they do not attack you, do not attack it. This is a woodwode, a guardian of the forest, a guardian of a thing called the elder tree. There are many elder trees in this forest, but they are rare, and they tend to guard over sections of this forest. The closest one is the one we are looking for. If we are able to reach it, we can tree stride through it to a much greater distance away than the trees that we utilized yesterday. We might even get close to, well, the border today. We utilize elder trees like this in the Crowda for travel. But these are, well, much more wild. She kind of looks at each of you to see if you have any questions.
Oh, okay.
Seems perfectly safe and rational to me.
Makes sense why you would want to divert us east. Not sure why you wouldn't tell us earlier today, but we'll go along with it.
Well, I'm sure you have your secrets as well. This is one thing that the elves have kept to themselves for a long time. We don't share this secret easily.
I can see why you waited so long to tell us, because we would be super excited all day, and that would probably make us more tired. So thank you for your restraint.
She gives a puzzled glance to Belzian and nods.
You are excited to meet Woodward?
I'm excited to adventure and see all sorts of new things, provided I survive.
Belzian had a sheltered upbringing.
There's a whole world out there.
Well, shall we?
So,
Anything else we should know about the Woodwoods or the Elder Tree or the space between here and there before we go there?
Do not harm the plant life around the Elder Tree in particular. Step lightly.
Would it be possible to climb the Elder Tree, or is that too disrespectful? Okay.
Do not do this.
I will try not to.
I appreciate that you try.
Trying is the first step to failure.
I do not like that. That is scary. Do not climb the tree, please.
I was just joking around. You're a pretty serious chap, aren't you?
No, I love humor and laughing.
I see.
Let's go before we say anything else.
This is while we're walking lightly and quietly.
No, she stopped us to explain what was going on.
Okay, mid-tiptoe.
All right. So, you travel maybe 20 minutes more until you see that you kind of have a little bit of a height advantage to look at kind of like a basin. It's a slight basin, it's just a kind of a round area. Maybe it might have been at one point a crater, but it has long since overgrown. As you approach this rise and you see out into it, you see a vast forest, thick with wildlife, and stepping up toward the party, almost as if rising from the ground, are 3 woodwoads with various colors for eyes. 2 of them have blue dots for eyes, and 1 has a green dot for eyes. And they kind of hold their shield-like appendages up at the group as if to say stop. And they hold a club-like branch ready. 1 of them is left-handed, the other 2 are right. Ire says in Elvish, "Greetings, Wodes. We come to visit the Elder Tree. We do not wish anyone any harm." And they don't even react to her words. She kind of looks back at the other 2 elves as if to say, why isn't that working?
He tries, Gormir says in Sylvan, "Hello, Wood, we mean peace. Let us pass, please."
One of the blue-eyed ones' eyes dance and brighten a bit, and it seems to say back in Sylvan, "Please, do you know any stories?"
And it wants a story. Do you all have stories? Mine are violence, and not very light-hearted. So, do you have stories? I translate.
Elsa, any stories?
I probably know a story or 2. In fact...
Although, careful talking about books.
Oh, right, books are made of trees. Well, that just changes things.
That may not be good. Well, don't tell the book. Tell what the book says.
No, all the books I have are definitely not tree-friendly or vegan.
Wait, you have no stories? You cannot just say a story?
You could say that the adventure we're on right now is a bit of a story.
I used to know one about a man from Nantucket, but it's probably not very good for this situation.
I could tell him about Atlan.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's a good story.
That is, you've said this name many times. Tell story I translate.
Okay, Atlan was a water elemental who was trapped in a city's many fountains. 5 fountains, I think, to be exact. And
the creature pipes up and says, "Good, you know stories. Follow me."
okay.
He says this in Sylvan.
It did not want the stories. I guess it wants stories to go. So we go. We walk.
Sometimes you just need to order takeout.
Is this like a story delivery service? Like, what is this?
It's Uber Eats.
Man, that would be a business idea. Anyway,
We'll sidebar that.
so
I think that's just podcasts.
yeah.
Back in just a sec.
So the woad seems to have a sprig in its step as it leads you forward. You see that there are many, many, many woads throughout this area, and all of them seem to be heading in a general direction toward the center of the caldera. You get a feeling of reverence, very similar to the feeling that you got when you were, those of you who visited the Grand Cathedral in Jane. You guys remember that cathedral? Gigantic. Yep. With hushed, echoed tones and whatnot. Like, even though people were talking close by, that echoed voice kind of disappeared into the caverns. It's with the tight knit canopy and the basin kind of opening up, with the giant tree in the center of it, with smaller trees all around it. It seems like not many of the large trees can grow here with the dense canopy of the elder tree. So it's a lot more open, almost like a great room, which seems to be the shelter for these woads that care for the elder tree. You see kind of many great creatures in the area. There's a huge lion that is kind of lapping at a stream as you pass. It kind of watches you pass, but doesn't make any moves of hostility. It seems like this area is an area of truce, and any who break it are defiling this land. You get this impression.
Every animal we passed by, Zippo's gonna wave like furiously and smile at them all.
Those of you who are religious intent. Nobody's a worshiper of Langelius, are they?
Belzium goes for the 12 generally.
Right. Okay. So this has a strong representation of the fifth god, Langelius, god of nature.
Ooh, like its large tree symbol on the clock.
Correct. Yeah. So they guide you ever further, closer and closer to the elder tree.
Little Wood, why did you seek stories?
It is the elder tree's dying wish.
He
wish.
bristles. Yeah, he bristles at that and shares. Tree is dying.
Oh, no.
One story.
As Gormier says this, you do notice that the leaves of the tree are falling, if not bare in many places. There's still thick up there with leaves and whatnot, but they're all discolored. They're yellowing and not a healthy green look to them. The bark of the elder tree is more pale than that of the trees that you've seen in the past. Some of the bark actually peeling off and bare on some patches.
Is this going to work here? It is dying.
I hope it should. As long as it is not dead, it should still work. You're still hundreds of feet away, but in your heads you hear the groan of something gigantic. As if a great door were creaking open. Little wood, what have you brought me? The elder tree opens an eye, and then another, and it looks down at you. There is no mouth, but there are eyes on this tree. The voice seems to be groaning within you, within your head, almost as if it were communicating through a ring itself. But you get a sense that anything in the area can hear it.
And we understood it, like it wasn't speaking a specific language.
It wasn't speaking in a specific language. And this is something you get a sense from the ring. When something speaks in your head, you understand it because it's not exactly words. You can form it as words for sure, as a definition, but it's more like a thought, right? And thoughts don't need words. You can understand it, even, and we can enunciate it in sentences, but it's more than that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I believe that the tree is addressing us.
They, the ones over there, and they will point to the, what are they called, woodwillows?
Mm-hmm.
He'll point to them, like, they said you were seeking stories, and we said we had stories, and they brought us here to tell you stories.
Yes. I wish to have stories. I have lived my life here and know only of this basin and those that connect to me through it. Tell me of the lands outside of my humble forest, so that I may die in peace.
Well, there used to be a big wall that blocked off 3/4 of the land. And on the other side of this wall, there is a kingdom. And the old king was not a very good person. And he trapped a water elemental named Atlan into 5 separate wells. And I brought all 5 pieces together and brought Atlan back out. And he let me ride him out of town, and he rode off into the sunset, into the waters. And then later on, we went to a river where we met more water elementals. And they helped us cross said river to go stop the guy that trapped the other water elemental. And they seemed to have a pretty good civilization going there. There was a good amount of them, and it seemed like they had a pretty good peaceful relationship with everybody else in the forest, excluding trespassers. They were all pretty good. And they especially liked, we knew this one guy also. His name was Vort. He's a goblin. He's the king of goblins. He rules in a little town called Jewel. And they're very famous for their swamps and all the jewelry that they pass around to everybody else. Their mines especially. That's where the goblins work. They had a peace treaty there with the humans to, the goblins mine the lower part, the humans mine the upper. And they can trade back and forth for supplies. It's a very peaceful town. Recently, close to your forest, we met a guy named Perrin. He's a were-tiger. Or at least I believe he's a were-tiger. And he seemed to, he was a little crazy, but I guess he was banished, so he had to stay by himself forever. so he's always alone. But he had a pretty nice little abode. Plenty of books. Most, I think, self-written. Pretty nice cave.
You hear some
Zippo will go
chuckling.
on like this forever.
Very good, little kobold. What is your name?
My name is Zippo. I just recently made friends with a air genie. He was very nice.
And what is it that you all want? Why are you here?
The elves and Zippo point to the three elves that, the ones that brought him here. They said something about passage through you to another elder tree so we can get out of these lands. We've actually just recently been banished from the Axe clan because they thought we were spies, even though we were just curious people looking to, explore the land.
Giant spawn. It groans. They are no friends of mine. It grunts and grumbles.
Yeah, they don't like us very much either.
Thank you, little kobold. Now, your other friends must give me a story. It turns casts its eyes on the other 4, 5 of the group, hungrily, almost.
If it is a tale we must tell, then a tale must be told, perhaps. I come from a monastery very far away, and part of what we had to do was to inter the deceased into places of comfort for their family so they could go on to the next thing. This one time, a woman came to the temple to make arrangements for her husband's funeral, who had recently passed. And she told one of the monks that she wanted her husband to be buried in his favorite dark blue robe, when most of the people in the town really would only have brown robes, so dark blue was a little hard to come by. So our funeral director monk asked, wouldn't it be easier just to bury him in the brown robes that we provide here at the temple, or even the black ones that we provide for the funerals? But this woman, she insisted that he had to have a blue robe because it was his favorite color, and she was a very wealthy patron of the temple, and she gave us a quite generous amount of gold to buy, a blue robe instead of the brown ones. So when she finally came back for the funeral that we had prepared, she saw her husband lovingly placed on the coffin, and he's now wearing the blue robe. And she asked us, how much did it cost to get a blue robe like that for the funeral? And our head monk, bless his heart, he says, it actually didn't cost anything. As soon as you left, another corpse was brought in, probably from our civil war, this one wearing the blue robe. And I noticed they were about the same size, and I asked the other widow if she would mind if her husband were buried in the brown robe, and she said that was fine with her. So I switched the heads. It was a win-win for everybody. Excuse me, I have to let my kid into the house. I'll be right back.
The tree seems to smile with the story. He doesn't chuckle like he did for Zippo. He more... it seems like you can feel relief from hearing another story of something other than where he is. His eyes swivel expectantly. Jordan seems to be at a loss for words for the first time in a while. He doesn't quite like he seems to be trying to decide on a story to tell, and ends up ends up undecided, and kind of looks at the group for assistance.
How about the story of when we met, Jordan?
You and me, or the group itself?
Either or.
I'm sorry? Say that one more time.
Either or, whichever you think would be more appeasing to hear.
Tell the story of how you and Zippo met. I may be able to add some context to the second story there.
Fair enough. Well, I was once playing a song at a pub down in southern Seregen. It was a place I had been staying for a few days. This was in Fervor, of course, and as I finished the last chord of my final song for the night, I noticed that there was a group of people that were, surrounding a table and yelling angrily. They hadn't been listening to my song at all. In fact, they seemed to be arguing with the smallest creature within that establishment, this small little kobold who is not backing down from a group of men 3 times his size, as they shouted at him. I just had to see what this creature was about, and I interceded and I said, "Can I help you, gentlemen?" And they said something, and that about how the kobold had cheated them or something, promised them something, and had not given them, or maybe he even insulted their mothers. I'm not quite sure of the details, and quite frankly, all of that is believable of our little friend. He kind of rubs one of his horns affectionately, but I I cast a charm on the whole group, and they were feeble-minded enough that none of them, all of them wanted to listen to me, and I told them that I had just played a lovely song, and that I felt that a tip was due. And they turned out their pockets and gave me what I was owed. And I bought the kobold a drink, and we chose a different tavern, and we've been traveling together ever since.
Those guys were all liars, I promise.
He kind of smiles inwardly at that point, like it's a core memory for him. The tree chuckles along with Jordan with that, and swivels his gaze to Gormir, Roger, or Yarvik.
Well, to follow on from Jordan's story, I was traveling with a dear friend who's still hostage to the Axe Clan up north. We were agents of the crown, seeking to root out an organization of rebels who were loyal to the king's brother. And this particular time, there were no good opportunities to corner this nobleman, and so we ended up confronting him in a crowded theater, a theater where Jordan and Zippo were performing, and clearly they had plans of their own. Things very quickly devolved. And chaos broke out in the theater, and we nabbed our target, but ruined the show, much to Jordan's chagrin, I'm sure. In the chaos, we managed to slip out with Jordan and Zippo, who were no longer welcome in that town. And that's how the two of them joined up with Ulrika. And I believe the day after we met Yarvik and Belzian. We've been traveling together ever since, all the way from the very southern part of Seregen to here.
Just as an out of character, I believe the group did get together in... I think Belzian and Yarvik were actually watching the show as well. Let's see.
Gotcha.
Belzian and Yarvik, who met in Ari and want to gain knowledge of the world outside, have become... So Belzian and Yarvik were traveling together and find a missing book. They were stalking the noble... who had they thought the noble had the missing book, and they were stalking them to see. But then the noble got murdered.
I will clarify that for
Yeah.
the sake of the story.
The noble looked just like the guy that we'd never seen before.
All of the rest of my stories are sad, so I'd rather not tell those.
In the lull of the conversation, Yarvik pulls out his pipe slowly and carefully contemplates it. He doesn't light any tobacco. Clenches the pipe between his teeth, and he poses a very serious question. Have you ever heard of sausage? And then, through a long and very Bubba Gump storytelling enterprises, proceeds to list all of the different kinds of sausage that you can make in the world. It's like a granny story. It just keeps going and going and going, and the last thing he ends up on is duck sausage. So what do you think? Sausage.
While I am not a eater of flesh, I thank you for your story, little hobbit. You feel that smile once again.
Sweet.
It seems like it's hungry for one more story. I just require one more. It says weekly.
Yes, well, sir, your words may know this worthy tree, elder tree, but sometimes when you are fighting someone, you must make sure that they are dead after you have won. One time I did not do this. I thought that I had killed the man, but as I went to take my dagger back, I did not ensure that he was dead. The next thing I knew, he had me in his arms, had rolled over and was on top of me and trying to take the dagger out of himself and put it into me. This is not a good situation for anyone, so I recommend always checking to make sure they're dead. Maybe stab them a few times, just to be sure. In this case, of course, I did not die. I need him in the crutch, yes, where his berries hang. And then I twist the dagger a number of times and put it back in him a few more times for good measure. I made sure he was dead this second time. Of course, it turned out that he was, well, undead to begin with, but that is another story. I do not wish to bore you, Elder Tree.
You find that as you've been telling the Elder Tree these stories, it has thanked you by name each time. Thank you, Zippo. Thank you, Gormir. But you never told it.
You did the whole time?
No, I heard you.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, kept that silence for so long. But when Gormir finishes his story, he says, "Thank you, Gormir."
You're welcome, Elder Tree. Will you survive? Could you share your story with us? What has happened to you?
I'm afraid I do not have much time left, and it seems you have come for a purpose. The life within me will not fade quickly, but it will fade shortly. You have an hour. I have lived a good life, but as with every life, it comes to an end. Nothing is causing this. I bear no remorse or hatred toward anything. No, it is just my time. But where I die, my children may live. The small trees that I mentioned earlier must be the elder trees, saplings. They're spaced much closer together, similar to how much of the rest of the forest is spaced.
Zippo's gonna get teary-eyed. And how close are we to the elder tree?
I mean, you probably got closer as you were talking, but he started talking to you while you were over 100 feet out.
I just didn't know if we were close enough and if they'd allowed me to touch him or not.
If you want to get closer, you've been communicating with it. You're allowed to. Yes.
I would Zippo would start crying. He'd get real close and try to hug the trunk a little bit. I'm sorry you have to go, and only after hearing so many stories.
You can kind of put your hand on a root, but it's bigger than any damn tree you've ever seen.
Okay, gotcha. That's fine too. just some kind of contact with it. And then Zippo will be like, if I make my way back through here in the future, and your kids are growing up, I'll tell them your story, of my story of meeting you, and any more stories that I could collect on the way.
So do these saplings, do they come with all the knowledge and stories that you've absorbed previously? Are they a continuation?
I do not know, Belzian. That is my hope. But they will not be able to enlighten until I am gone. Maybe they'll be their own, or maybe they'll be like me. I do not know. And I take some joy in that. The tree quiets at this, and the forest hushes reverently. The birds seem to even chirp a little quieter, maybe even a little sadder, as if the emotions of the tree are being felt by every creature in its vicinity.
Well, now seems like a good time to go do our thing. Roger will nudge Ire.
Great Elder Tree, may we use you for passage. Can you help us get to where we need to go? I would not have charged you so heavily in story had I not been. You may touch me, my child. Ire bristles at this a bit. You can see the back of that hair on the back of her neck stand up when he calls her my child. In fact, Gormir, you also feel that same feeling. And actually, Roger, you do too. Sorry, Belzian, you don't.
Damn, that's spooky.
Don't have any hairs to stand up. It's okay.
You're also not a wood elf.
Right?
And thinking about it, they must have thought I was a heretic then when I just went up and touched him without him asking me to.
You also gave a lot more story.
Sure.
Frankly, if you don't tell Sipho to stop, he won't stop giving you stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's only been around for 6 years, but he is prepared to recount all of it.
The tree kind of grows quiet, and you can hear it groaning. Maybe with pain, maybe it's fallen back into slumber. Ire pulls out the sapling once more, and you realize that this is just a greater version of the trees that you've seen in other places. She plucks 8 leaves from the sapling and hands one to each of you. Like before, hold on to the person in front of you, and for God's sake, do not let go. For the God's sake, I should say. We travel far. Are you ready? She She looks at you.
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
Let's do it.
All right. The group steps into the elder tree, almost merging with it, and immediately you feel a torrent as you are sucked into the tree and are traveling along its roots. The roots are a tangle. You can feel deep into the mountains, deep into the forest in every direction. This tree travels far and connects to other great trees in the vicinity. And by the vicinity, I mean hundreds of miles. I need each one of you to make a strength check, as the speed at which you're traveling is pulling at your hold.
Check or save, just to clarify.
Check. You're purposefully holding on tight.
I'm apparently
That's
not
the-
holding on very tight.
That's the best I'm gonna roll for strength probably ever.
Wow.
You're totally maxed, and he's holding with one, flexing with the other.
Belskin's hands feel weak today.
All right. So I assume Ayer's on one side and Eliath is on the other. So this is just to see where Belzian is in this line. Let's look at the marching order. So the marching order, Belzian is second to last, Roger being last, and Eliath being after Roger. I'm going to say front is Yarvik, then Gormier, Jordan, Zippo, and then Belzian. So Zippo is on one side, Roger is on the other. So fortunately, strength checks are both ways. So, like, for example, if Belzian's holding on to both Zippo and Roger and Zippo are also holding on to Belzian, correct?
Yeah.
You follow me? So, Zippo is the weaker side, but Roger holds on to Belzian fairly tightly. On the other side, Zippo, you also feel that your grip is starting to slip as well with that roll. So that's fun.
Yay. Go make friends with a different tree.
I gotta make my strength. I'm gonna roll inspiration for that. Okay, cool. So overall, let's see how the other two do. Okay. Overall, the group manages to hold it together, although it's kind of touch and go for a little bit there, as like you're kind of like re-grasping your hold, or like slipping further down the arm to hold on to Belzy and Roger, as Jordan's doing the same thing to Zippo, and they're all but holding on the other end between them. As you're kind of pulled this way and that, you feel the rumble of earth as you pass by what seems to be some sort of giant earthworm that is traveling underground at a certain section. There's caves that you sense that you pass. You're not sure what might be in them, but there's definitely caves under these lands. And overall, the experience is one that can only be equated with rushing down a tunnel incredibly fast. Faster than you've ever gone before. The centrifugal force alone is kind of just berating you. It's similar, Zippo, to the feeling that you had when you were in the center of the wall collapsing. That rush of wind that you were at the center of that storm. And then the group flies out the other end and kind of tumbles to the ground as you come out.
I know. So I'm gonna assume I'm like really tightly held on to Brunhild then.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanna make
Brunhild
sure
is
that we
part of
didn't
the
really
ride,
drink
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was making sure that we didn't forget about it.
Give me 1 second. In fact, so you spit out. You land on the ground at the edge of the not the edge of the forest, but quite a bit more south. And we're gonna take our 10-minute break, so I can let my cat out. I'm coming, Benji. All right. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Welcome back from the break, everyone. Hope you had a good one. Hope your teas are filled and your bladders are empty. We have just been spat out from a network of routes that we have just traveled across. You find yourself in a much less dense part of the forest. In fact, the tree that you have exited is a fairly large tree as well. You seem to be in a similar type of area, but you're definitely in a different area of Relic for sure. The trees seem a little more farther apart and whatnot. You see a few surprised woads looking at you startled, and a few kind of gather close to you to like curiously, but other than that, nothing seems to mess with you. You see that this elder tree doesn't speak to you, or you don't feel its presence currently. But you do see that it is bearing large fruits up in its canopy. 1 sec. Alright, I'm back. Well, that was a ride, says Jordan. Trees don't really have names per se, says Ire. Everybody checks themselves and they seem to be intact. Sure. Open the wrong window. The fruits look like large apples. This one seems to not answer your question. All right. So, does that mean you're choosing to leave this area? Speaking of the day, it seems that the travel through the line of trees took about an hour. It is maybe 4, maybe 5 o'clock at this point. So you have a good 2 or 3 hours left of travel for today. All right. Ire kind of continues to lead the way. She always seems to know the direction to go. And you travel for another 2 hours without much incident. I know it looks like you're on the edge of the forest, but you're not quite there. Seems like you might reach that tomorrow if you had a map showing you that you were on the edge of the forest. At this point, since you don't have a way of really telling where you are in the world, this is just for your metagaming benefit and not for your character. Although, if Ulrich were watching you on his globe, he'd know exactly where you are, and probably have also seen that jump. That is, if he's still in possession of the globe at this point. So it's getting dark. I assume that means you're going to be wanting to make camp. All right. So, who's taking watches? Are we doing 3 watches or 4 this time? Are we still doing 3? Okay. So I think last time it was Who paired off with who? I think Jordan was with Zippo again, right? Yeah. First watch was who? No, I think it was, Gormir and Yarvik were second. I think Belzian was first. Gormir and Yarvik were second, and then Zippo and Jordan were third. Roger, I think, was with second watch, correct? Trying to remember. Does that sound right? Okay. I'm just looking to see when you wanted to sleep, Roger, basically. Okay. Jordan invites Roger to do watch with them. All right. So first watch would be Belzian and Ire. Are we doing a campfire tonight? What are our plans for our camp? Gormir, you feel a lot less pressure to stay hidden now that you are days travel south and very close to the Elven lands. You know that within a day you'll be back to your side of the wall. So right, so you light a fire. First fire in several days. First fire since the wall went up or went down, right? He did, but that was the same day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I believe the wall went down. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days ago. Yeah, a week and a day. Alright. So Belzian's already rolled perception. And Ire rolled lower than Belzian. Actually, no, rolled the same as Belzian. To the number. Yep. Oh, okay. So roll your perception then. Yes. Yeah, this definitely was the watch perception, right? Yeah. Alright. So, you guys make watch, and Ire seems to be a lot more friendly, useful even, instead of tired. Almost like her traveling through the tree either rejuvenated her, or her being this far south is rejuvenating her. You see a marked difference in her. She even appears a bit younger, more vibrant. her freckles have a blue tinge to them instead of her normal pale freckle. I'll remind you, she has darker olive skin with light freckles instead of like dark freckles with light skin. Well, yes. Yes, I am. Well, I would say we're likely out of the immediate harm's way of the Axe Clan and into more familiar dangers. Plus, we are close to our lands, which is, well, good. Everything seems to be going according to plan. More than I already have? Well, I think you're gonna see them quite soon enough. What else do you need to know? Yes, we have, of course we've heard of the 12. The 12 are the 12 gods, of course. Of course we are more partial to Langelius, but we observe the importance of all of the 12. We crossed shortly after the wall went down. This will be our first time back from our scouting mission. No, none would be able to pass. It was impassable. No. I had other jobs before the wall went down, but all of them were to protect my people. This is just another one of those. Well, you may have noticed he doesn't talk like me. He's from another area of Necrata, more to the east. You'll find that there are many different dialects of elves in our lands. Okay. You're kind of the mind right now of you've seen one forest, you've seen them all. Yeah. Well, shall we wake up the next group? Yep. See you next week. Belzian, if you could just add your little Belzy when he leaves, just so we have the count right. Thank you. Yeah, we're not there yet. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to move some things around. Gormir, since you lost your sleeping buddy, yeah. So go ahead and Roger and Gormir make perception checks. Roger and Gormir, you notice that every once in a while the light of the moon casts more than one shadow on things like trees and whatnot. Like you'll notice that like something like a tree is casting a long shadow that's more than one of it, like at two different angles. And yes, there's two moons out, but they're kind of creating a general glow. And you'll do a double take, and it will no longer be that. It'll just be one shadow instead of two. Uh, Jordan. Jordan opens his eyes when you touch him. It doesn't seem like he's waking, and more just opening his eyes from being restful. He still has a tired look about him. He rolls up his bedroll neatly and motions Roger over as he kind of settles in next to Zippo to keep watch. Roger, would you mind keeping watch for me tonight? Yeah, I figured you would be. I'd like to attend to some things in my office for a bit. Thanks. I figured I didn't have to sneak it like I used to. And taps his nose at you. So he opens up his bag, goes down his ladder, and disappears into his bag. Alright, Zippo and Roger, give me perceptions. Alright. So, what are you guys doing this watch? No. Especially not at night. Mm-hmm. Okay. Brunhild's about 2 years. Relatively speaking, maybe he's younger than Brunhild. Well, since Brunhild's a bigger dog, yes. Some dogs can live to be 20. I guess that's still 2, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Do you care to make a history check on that, or nah? It's just what Zippo's convinced himself of. Okay. A means to an end. Mhm. It's about 500 miles away. Inspiration. I mean, out of character, that was kind of Zippo's wish, wasn't it? Like, by this point, Jordan is climbing back out of his bag, and he seems to be holding some sort of device in his hand. So it seems to be some sort of small sphere. It almost looks like a you know those meditation balls, those metal balls that like you have two of them and you kind of rotate in your hand for stress relief. It looks like that, but it's got two. They're both etched as if they make a pair, and they're made out of what seems to be copper. They're like reddish in color. Did I say silver before? I meant copper. So he comes up to Zippo, and he brings Roger over, and he says, "I've been thinking this over for the last couple nights, and I can't see a way that Ulrich's going to be able to get back to us anytime soon. And once we cross over into Necrata, well, we might not ever see him again. So I've decided I'm gonna go get him." With the powers that we've been receiving from defeating our enemies, I was able to learn the spell of Dimension Door, which means I can get out to him. And this can get him back. Get us back. And he holds one of the copper balls and he hands it to Zippo. And he says, I don't want you to press this yet to test it out, but on the sphere there's a button. These will only work once, but when you push that button, it will draw whatever creatures are in contact with this ball back to it. I had this as an emergency, and I've never had the need to use it, but I can't think of any better time to use it but now. But I fear that it will not work once we cross the wall. If the messaging doesn't work, who knows what else won't work. I don't have the ability to teleport, I only have Dimension Door. Well, I can only use that once per day, and we're on the border. So, right. So, my plan is, I'll give this to you, Zippo. I'll cast message when I'm ready for us to come back, and you'll push the button. And what I'll do is I'll Dimension Door there, get him out. We don't even need to leave the camp. I just need to be there, and then we can get out of there. And you just push the button to get us out. This is something that's easier done alone, but I can't actually take anybody with me when I Dimension Door. It has to be me. Otherwise, I'd take Ulrich with me back. I'd wait a day and take us both through the door. I just can't, like, the feeling that we can't leave him behind. Like, I can't do it. We've done so much already together with him. He deserves to be with us. He deserves to see what's in the Krata, to see the story through. Yes. When you get to the wall, wait for me to message before you go through. Well, I'm planning on leaving you when we get to the wall. And then, from there, it shouldn't take very long for me to get to him and get out. But I'll message you if something changes. Alright. Should we tell the others, or keep it between us? He looks at both of you conspiratorially. mean, they were pretty sensitive to the fact that Ulrich was there at all. Perhaps they'll be relieved, but they might also be alarmed that I'm going in and freeing him and ruining the agreement. I hope Ulrich is willing to go when I get there. I'm gonna do my best. Dimension door. If I know where I'm going, I can go there. Alright, and he nods and hands Zippo the orb. It's a copper orb. You could just put copper orb in a copper orb of teleportation or something like that. He's only getting one though, so it's a copper ball. I have the other one. There you go. Yes. Alright, morning comes. Gormir, you didn't go back to sleep, so what were you doing in that time? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to see if there was a chance that you might have ever heard it or not, basically. Okay. Alright, so the whole group wakes up. It's morning. Well, Jordan did tell both of them that he was planning on leaving when they got to the wall. You guys lucked out with the last one because it wouldn't have been uneventful had I rolled better with the cloaker. In fact, it would have been 2 cloakers instead of 1. Oh. Yep. Yeah, yeah. While you guys are rolling perceptions, I'm also rolling things perceiving you, and sometimes they roll great, and sometimes they don't. Exactly. So far, the only thing that's attacked you at night was the bone naga. Yeah, pretty quickly. It was redispatched. All right. So, you push south. You sure? Yes. Yeah. All right. The jungle abruptly ends. And you see a field, a plain instead. You see that it kind of stretches downward and then heads toward a brown divot in the field or the plain miles ahead, but like you can see the footprint of the wall even from here. A small stream has formed along the where the base of the wall was, almost as if like that natural imprint has now started to gather water and is slowly turning into a place where water will collect and trickle downstream. But at the edge of the woods, you notice something that looks familiar to you, but you can't quite place where it was. That it was familiar. Maybe some of you'll remember it by this description. We'll see. You see a stake of wood that's pushed into the ground, staked down into the ground. It's about the height of a person. Tied to it in an arc is another branch at a T at the top of it. And there's several pieces of wood and bindings that are kind of connecting all of it together up there so that the cross section is reinforced. Hanging from each side of the T are two skulls. One seems to be a large humanoid, and one seems to be a smaller humanoid, but with two large teeth. Instead of the normal sized canines, they seem to be more tusk-like, like large canines. Nope. Jordan's still here. You know that the clans tend to mark their territories with markings along their border. So this must be one of those. You guys mind if I go to the bathroom real quick? Says Jordan. Jordan seems to be up to something. Okay. He goes to walk behind a tree and immediately casts Dimension Door. He turns around. He looks at you, Zippo, right in the eye. And he says, "Be good." And he winks and disappears through the door. It closes behind him. So you don't know how long he's going to be. I will say that much. Okay. Alright. Meanwhile, the rest of the group sees Jordan and Zippo go behind one of the large trees close by. 5 or 10 minutes go by, and they're still behind the tree. Jordan's pushing 60. We did talk about fiber earlier. Are you gonna clue in Belzian, Roger, or are you just gonna let him be? Or Zippo, I guess. You're not sent. I mean, he doesn't answer back. It's not really like you don't really sense who you're contacting, who you're not. It's more like people can hear you if they can hear you, and they can if they can't. Unfortunately, the rings don't have that many functions. As awesome as that would be. No, yeah, no, it's good to clarify though. No. We need to get a move on. Get your friend. I don't care if he's done or not. She was talking to Belzian and Roger when she said that. Yarvik's kind of still half awake, half asleep. Good shout. That's a good callback. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. The secret passage, yeah. Belzian, you come around the tree expecting and bracing yourself for the worst and finding Zippo just plopped down on the ground, hanging out. True news indeed. And with that, I think we're going to call it for tonight. So we're in a situation right now where what's going to happen next is we're going to be doing a one shot with Ulrich on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Where Ulrich will do some things for what happened to Ulrich the last 2 days. But now the message that Jordan sent Ulrich last session should make sense now. He said the word to Ulrich before he left, vowing that in 2 days' time he would come to get Ulrich back. So we'll see what happened to Ulrich, and we'll see what happens when Jordan arrives. And next session, we'll see what the fruit of that labor will be, and what happens to Ulrich and Jordan in the process. So if you want to see what happens, both in party and out, tune in on Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for our one-shot. And we will be meeting again Tuesday in a week. We are off schedule at the moment. We're getting back on by meeting next week. And that'll be the day after my birthday, actually. So I'll be playing D&D on both sides of my birthday, the 24th and then the 26th. It does, yeah. So, guys, excellent session. Had a lot of fun with this one. You don't get a lot of opportunities to tell stories like this, so it was, I think, a fun little side thing to do. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see each other in a week's time, so you don't have to wait too long to find out what happens to some members of our party that we might have missed. In any case, we'll see everyone soon. Thanks everyone out there on Twitch.